Okay, so we're watching this show called Modern Love. We're on episode 2, season 1. It's a great show, actually. Each episode is a totally different concept. This concept is when Cupid is prying. When Cupid is a prying journalist. That's the title of the episode 2, season 1, Modern Love. Anyway, so okay, so if you haven't seen this show, well, anyway, we're at the beginning of the plot, but the real truth is, so you probably shouldn't listen to this if you want to see this show. So the plot is that this woman, that's the queen, this woman is in love with this dude. The dude's in love with this woman. They get engaged. They moved in together. Everything's going well. And the woman, about 6 months into the relationship or so, the woman,
she goes home to visit her family, and while she's there, she runs into her ex-boyfriend at a bar. And he had gotten married already, but he was now divorced. And they had some drinks, and then
one thing led to another.
And they slept together.
So she goes home immediately and goes back to her boyfriend, her live-in boyfriend, and she tells him. He packs up immediately. He's like, look, a relationship is about trust. She says, I love you. And he says, it's all about trust. You broke my trust. I'm out.
Mm-hmm. And my husband says, I wholeheartedly agree with him.
The king. I'm the king. I'm the husband, but
He is
I'm
the king.
I'm sorry. No.
He is the king. Yes.
See, I get husband. She gets queen. Like, I call her queen everywhere we go.
You are my king.
I get husband. It's like as common as ever. Like husband.
I'm
Like
sorry.
everybody who's been 30 years we've been together. Husband. That's what I get. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
That's a tangent.
He is my king. So.
Okay, that feels better. I feel more kingly now. Okay, so the issue is, I'm with the dude. I'm out because she broke the trust.
Mm-hmm. And then I say, well, now wait a minute. Why in the world? I said it's because he's a man.
Right. We have this thing that she's always for women. I'm always for men. That's like our thing. Yeah. I disagree. It's not just because he's a man, although maybe it is. But I gotta think. I gotta think deeply about it.
So tell me why you feel like he is justified for leaving. The thing that I said was, we've been through a similar thing.
Early in our marriage, I cheated on my wife. So the first year of our marriage, I cheated on my wife, and it was obviously wrong. Mm-hmm. But what's different about it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think you had the right to leave. That's the truth, right? You had the right to leave.
Right.
So I think the reason I'm with it, and I'm very glad she didn't leave, right? Mm-hmm. So, however, I think he has the right to leave. I was mad because here's this woman, she goes home, and her ex-boyfriend was married. That was part of the plot of the story.
He was divorced.
And then he got divorced.
Yeah.
And she's with this dude, and then all of a sudden, one night of drinking, which she shouldn't have done anyway, but she did it, and they end up sleeping with each other. And she says she regretted it immediately and came home to him. I'm like, him, if it was that easy for you, especially as a woman, so this is where it's gonna get into.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but was it not just as easy for you?
Just as easy for me to fall.
Yeah.
Yes, but let me say this, and I don't know her past, right? My thinking is that her past, generally, women are more able to stay faithful. That's their dream. That's their thought. Men, that's not their natural thought, generally. And so, generally, men are thinking of that type of thing. And so, they have to use more self-control than a woman. Generally. Is that not true to you? No.
I mean, no, it's not true to me.
Okay.
No, it's not. I don't think that's a fair way of looking at it. Like, well, generally, women are more faithful, so she should have been more self-control. And men are usually not more faithful, and they are less self-control, so they get a little bit more of a pass.
I don't think the man is... Nah, I don't know that. Maybe I am saying that, though. Maybe I'm wrong. So let me just start there, because I'm starting to see my wrongness. But let me say this. I'm with him. Just my gut reaction is I'm out. Because I think I do expect more from the women.
But I don't think that's fair.
I don't know if it's not fair though. I think
No,
that
I
women
don't.
would expect more from men in other areas. So, like, for instance, would a woman expect more from a man in the area of, for instance, taking care of the family financially? I know there's this new age thing where it doesn't really matter, but it does matter. Like, deep down, don't you want a man to be able to have financial stability? Like, that's sort of a man thing to be able to do. A real man. I'm not talking about boys and
No,
immature dudes.
I do agree with that. And at the
More than a
same,
woman necessarily has to have financial stability. If she has it, fantastic. But
right,
doesn't it
but
feel
that
like
doesn't. But if a man doesn't have financial stability, it doesn't mean he's broken a vow or trust. If that man, like, say, loses a job, then he's working to get a job. If he's a good man, I'm not
right,
talking about, like,
right, jokers?
yeah.
Okay, so then here's my thing. I guess is that really, woman, like you. That's not a bad woman. I just call her a woman. Really, woman. She's a
Yes.
woman.
Yes,
Okay, so really, woman, you went to your parents' house and in a lickety split, whatever happened, and you slept with. I could see if, like, okay, wow, I had some deep feelings that I didn't realize I had. I could see, wow, there was like stuff that was happening in my heart that I didn't realize I, was gonna feel. All of that.
Yeah.
Maybe even I can see I said some things to him that I shouldn't have said. Or maybe even a kiss at the most. But again, and I always talk about this, like all the steps that it takes in sin. Like, sin is not just sin. Everyone says this. I don't know where this came from, that sin is sin. It's not sin is sin. A sin is a sin, but there's levels of sin and there's levels of complication to a sin.
Right.
It's just like manslaughter versus murder. There's levels to it. Mm-hmm. So if you're sinning and the mere fantasy could be a sin, and then you go into the next level of whatever you say, and then the next level of maybe kissing, and then the next level of going back to the room with the person, and then the next level of sleeping with them. So my point is, all of that is more and more sin stacked on top of each other. So my point then is, could she not have thought about the fact that this is not a good idea? So now you're probably thinking, well, what did you do?
Right. That's what I was waiting to get to.
I knew it.
That's what I was waiting to get to.
I think the bottom line for me, and you said this for 30 years or 25 years, I was wrong. And so that's all I'm saying about her.
No, I'm not saying she was right, but when he left, you said absolutely, I'm with him. She was like, I'm so
You're
sorry.
right. So okay, go ahead.
She was like, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. I love you. And she said,
well, I think the bottom line.
I stopped it. Like 10 seconds in, I stopped it and I came straight to you.
10 minutes in. 10 minutes in the sex world is a long time. So let me just say this. We're about 11 minutes and 32 seconds into this show. And I have a feeling he will go back to her. And I won't necessarily be against that. Mm-hmm. But then my point is that he should be mad. Now, you definitely agree with that. You were very crushed.
Absolutely.
So he does, okay, and you weren't necessarily sure if you were going to take me back immediately. We had friends there. We had a circle of trust, in a sense. Yeah. A lot of people around that were, helping you to think through it. You still had the choice of divorcing me, right? Because that was the truth for us.
Yeah. And
I think the truth is that.
Well, in that moment, I didn't see myself, okay, so this has happened. I didn't see myself divorcing you even after you told me. Right. I saw myself just, I didn't know
using it against me for the next 25 years.
No, I just didn't know how I was going to get through it. I just felt just the pain of it. And so I was just, what the sisters were helping me deal with, they were saying, just take one day at a time.
And I needed to rebuild my trust, her trust. And I needed to rebuild step by step, day by day, not asking her to get over it, not telling her, what are you still on me about? Even though I did do that. Like the truth is, right?
Yeah.
And I had to learn, like, don't do that. Like, let you overcome the betrayal, because that's what it was. And that's what this dude is feeling.
Yeah, and I totally get him. I mean, I remember like inside I wanted to just say, I'm out, you
Right.
know. But I mean, I felt like we were at a different place in our lives, and we were studying the Bible, and I knew that for you to tell me that you were really trying to live for God and to lead our family in a different direction, and I was.
You were willing to take that chance, trust in God, and move forward. Okay, so for this show, bottom line is, I don't think they're Christians. I don't even think that that's their thing. But she has said, I love you. I want to make this work with you. I do think, okay, so being real, I do think men do have a much harder time. Not to say women don't have a hard time.
What do you mean?
I think men have a harder time with women cheating on them than women
absolutely,
do men cheating on them. Not to say that women don't have a hard time. I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm just saying, would you agree though that between the two,
Yes.
I think men tend to have a harder time with the concept.
Yes. I don't think it's fair.
Right. I get that.
I don't think it's fair because, you know.
Hurt is hurt.
Yeah.
Betrayal is betrayal.
Yeah.
I get that. So, in the name of love, this is what we're thinking. What do y'all think? What is your viewpoint on the difference between a man cheating on a woman cheating on a man? Is it the exact same? Is there a difference? You know that men have different sort of biological urges, or if you don't know that, I think that to be true. And I think women have other biological urges, different types, generally speaking. I know that there's always differences, right? There's always exceptions.
Different types.
So,
Out there, yeah.
I don't know. So we're just talking about it. Anyway, peace and love, peace and strength. Tell us what y'all think. And don't go off on me in the ads, okay? Because I am going to block you. No, I'm just joking. I know you hate me. Who cares? Whatever. Peace.